Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Riesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Aisha Makara, artist, author, and entrepreneur. Please enjoy Aisha Makara. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today I'm here with Aisha Makara, artist, author, and entrepreneur. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey everyone, thank you, Mary, to have me. I really appreciate it. And here I am, based in Lisbon, travel around the world.
I love it.
Getting a new project done. Right now, I'm actually studying, become a captain. First it's going to be the day skipper. And after my goal of this year, somehow managed to be a captain on a sailing boat.
Oh my goodness.
My next big dream. It's sailing around the world, not now, but like in 10 years from now. And feeling like you get to start to build your confidence in the water and you get to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm feeling like, oh, that would be cool to do. And Lisbon or Portugal is the best place to do that. Even so, I still think Portugal is one of the places where, compared to other European countries, life is still like more balanced, and everything is just nearby. Like I'm living right now in the heart of Lisbon, and just 15 minutes from the airport, like 15 minutes to the beach, and everything is just so nearby. I just love it. I really love it. Public transportation working wonderful. Uber is super cheap. So for me, like I'm living a dream. I'm living the best life all the time. So like I'm really, mindful about how I organize my life. So that's how what I can say about me. Like I like to, be creative, create art, create opportunities for myself and other people. And when opportunities arrive, I like to kind of like see if it's something I would like to do and I enjoy to do. And I always live my dream. I'm always do what I love. It's create excitement in life. It's like bring you more joy as well, into your life, because you do what you love and you create what you love. And the end of the day, for me, it's about living the experience that I desire or I create for myself. And I believe I'm living best life. And I'm privileged to travel, I'm privileged to see all these beautiful places around the world. Used to live in Norway, Russia, America, Miami, Los Angeles, New York. Now I moved back to Dubai. I was like living many places, and until I understood Lisbon, it's my home. And I actually like to have a base. Even so, I'm very nomadic and a global traveler. I speak many languages. I understood that living here, I'm really like appreciating the time that I'm spending here. I'm appreciating everything what I have here, because if I go to the beach kite surf right now or sailing right now, 15 minutes I'm spending to get there, or 10 minutes to the other marina. Like if I go to sail, it's just like here, like just walking distance is 10 minutes. And I'm just saying to myself, what I wish more, because when I'm traveling, I'm always focusing on location, like the activities around that location, how much I can, benefit from I have around me. So for me, like when I was living in Miami many years ago, I said to myself, I want to live there by the beach, and I want to have many activities around, because I was doing yoga, acro yoga. I was doing a lot of mindful living, meditation, breathing, learning about community. So I found a place in South Beach, Miami, and I just moved there, and I was just, everything was just 15 minutes. Like on the bike, I had like electrical bike, and I feel like I was living a dream. You know, I created in my mind, and I was just living. I was doing my art exhibitions, organizing art events, doing a lot of amazing things that I love.
Yeah.
And I lived in a dream, in a dreamland from my perspective. That's why I started to kind of like think what I want to do next, and how I want to develop it, and the way I want to develop it. And I learned, for me, Portugal is the best place because like here, I can organize absolutely anything I want in such a way that I cannot do that in America, because it's like 10 times more expensive things, you know, like it's way of living and hustle mentality. It's not what I like. And I mean, when you're young, you enjoy hustling, but when you're getting a little bit older, you kind of want to have one or two things, max, maybe three things max, that you enjoy to do, and that still brings you money, you know, brings you the all the value that you would like to experience. So like all the things that you want to experience just nearby. You don't want to spend so much time to go and pick up your sailing boat, for example, or go and kite like 1 hour. For example, you cannot kite on the Miami beach. You get to go to Key Biscayne, or like, you know, it's like you cannot just sailing on South Beach. Even so, they have a marina, but it's like very expensive to have a boat there. It's like thousands of dollars in a month you're spending just on the rent. Here, can you believe, like having boat and putting in a marina here, 1,000 euro a year.
A year. Oh my gosh. I mean, it sounds like
you can live in that boat. And you can live in that boat. And I'm just like, I can buy the boat for 30K, you know, like okay boat, 35 max, like a big boat that I have on my own space, my own room. And my rent is going to be 1,000 euro a month, or a year, sorry. Like,
yeah. I mean, it sounds like you have found the perfect place for you that has all of the pieces you're looking for. I'm so curious, when you think of creativity and being creative, what does it mean to you to be creative?
For me, it's like understanding like what I want to create for myself, like my dreams, for example. You know, like when I become an artist, like when I was a like engineer, I started to work as an engineer. I was working for the government. That was kind of one of my biggest job, or first my job in my early 20s. I was the youngest engineer. You know, it was my second year, I think, in the university, and I was just knocking on the door. I said, you know what? I want to get some practice, you know, like real practice. Do I really want to work as an engineer all my life? Or do I want to, it just like kind of like, that's what we need right now in the society. And I get to just fit in, you know? And I started to just knock on the door, asking for a job. And I found a job. And not so many people do that, right? It's a kind of like a creative way to like organize yourself. When I was a little kid, for example, I always I was like always looking for this way of being me, you know, kind of like, even so I grew up an orphan, you know, like, and I get to kind of like always figuring out what best for me. Even so, sometimes it was not the best, but the thing is, you're learning through your own experience, through your own kind of like a way of thinking. And I understood not so many people think, not so many people actually using their brain to think why, or why we're doing this, why we're, you know, like why we cannot create this opportunity for ourselves. So when I decided to travel around the world, and I was like 10 years or 11 years old, and we started to have this geography class. And I remember that I started to say to everyone, I'm going to travel around the world. I'm going to travel around the world. And they were like, I'm going to live in all the cities around the world. And they said to me, yeah, like, just shut up or something like that. And I do, you know, and I'm just feeling like that kid was already kind of like dreaming and being very creative in their own way to create life that I'm living right now. You know, of course, it took many challenges of creating life that I'm living right now.
Yeah.
And I'm always curious. I'm always excited. I'm always passionate, whatever I do. Because I do it, I'm altruist, you know, like altruistic way of living life. And of course, sometimes it doesn't benefit me like 100% because, you know, like you get to fight for the money. Sometimes you get to fight for like your rights. I call it like this. And I don't like it. I don't like to fight for something
Mm.
I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
creating value, and other people don't see how much value I create in their life, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't appreciate it. I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like pissed, like upset about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why you don't value the things
Mm.
that people give it for you, and
Mm-hmm.
like, why I get to be like this? I'm asking myself, why I'm like this? Why I'm like so altruistic? Why I'm so kind? Why I'm so
Mm-hmm.
nice? And it irritates me sometimes that I'm like this. And one day, you know what? I said to myself, this is who I am. This is the
Mm-hmm.
way I am. I cannot change this because this is me.
Yeah.
Like I can accept me because I also learned through the experience. If I would be living in an idealistic world, like
Mm-hmm.
world we don't need money or anything like that, or
Mm-hmm.
this exchange way,
Yeah.
like it's again creative thinking, would I continue to do that what I'm doing? And my
Mm-hmm.
answer was yes. And I said
Yeah.
like, so why I'm getting irritated, why I'm getting frustrated, why I'm getting this, why I'm like getting upset,
Mm.
because all these programs that was built for us or created in us somehow, because we're growing, like we're going through the experiences in our life, and each
Mm-hmm.
country, each culture has different tradition, different way of
Yeah.
being, different way of like connecting and
Mm-hmm.
like flowing together. And that's why I decided, like, you know what, the right people in my life who is going to value me and my presence in their life, they would do absolutely anything to keep me there because they see me who I am and the value I create in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided that these people will show up in my life, and because I want them to show up in my life, because I want them to value what I create in their life. I started to notice that every time I'm connecting with people, I'm making their life better. I'm making
Mm.
their life more colorful, more joyful, more like
Mm-hmm.
happy. And
Yeah.
when I'm living in that place, because I feel like I was not appreciated, or I feel like
Mm-hmm.
these people doesn't value me the way I want them to value me, and I'm communicating that,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to protect myself, and I'm gonna get to do this, and I said like, and I said to myself, wait a moment, why I'm protecting myself when these people get to come and give me a hug and say, yes, I see you, yes, I love you, yes, I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you, I like give I give you a hug. So
Mm-hmm.
I started to do that to other people. I started to
Mm.
kind of like switch this way around.
Yeah.
Instead to be angry about that, I started to be happy about that. I said, okay, maybe I'm communicating something not right. Maybe I'm
Mm.
like doing something that people don't understand, and they take it for granted. And
Mm-hmm.
because they're thinking, oh, this girl is so beautiful, oh, she's probably very rich, she's probably like, she's from a wealthy family, and she doesn't care about like
Mm. Making
like money or
assumptions
anything
about
sense.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I said, why are you thinking like that? Why? That's why, like in my book, I wrote everything about me. I said that I said, like, you know what, just go to my website and learn about me, like a
Mm-hmm.
little bit what I created yes, maybe you see me as very rich and wealthy and powerful. In reality, like, I created myself from
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
from ashes, from like, I get to be positive and loving towards myself, to
Mm-hmm.
like um to live my life, to live the dream that I'm living, because
Yeah.
I'm creative. I'm like always thinking what's next, how I can travel around the world, what I get to
Mm-hmm.
do. And when I was a kid, I was like, I get to move to the capital. How I'm going to move to the capital if like it's so big, it's so expensive, and so on and so on. And I'm like, instead to look for the excuses, I
Mm.
was looking for solution, how I
Yeah.
can do that, and I was looking for opportunity to make that move happen. And because I didn't look like, oh, it's not possible. No, I said it's possible, I just don't know yet.
Yeah. And so how did you, as that dreamer kid wanting to travel the world, how did you go about taking those steps and navigating the challenges? Because I imagine it wasn't all easy for
No,
you.
of course it was like the first steps was as a teenager, and like I was in a good company, I was in a bad company, I was a gangsters or whatever, and like, and
Hmm.
because I kind of like, when I was a teenager, I want to belong. I had this like very strong feeling of belonging,
Yeah.
and I remember I was like, I want to belong to the group, feeling like no, I don't want to be alone, like. And I had a friend, she was like we play together, whatever, like as a girls, like with adults and stuff sometimes. But I want to have a group of people like to do something, create something, have fun, like ways. Like when you're a teenager, you kind of become more rebellious, like kind of like want to dress, whatever, kind of like being a little bit. But I was one of them. Like I want to express myself. I was rebellious. I was like a kind of like very fighter. I was fight a lot, and I was like this kind of like this energy, a fire energy. As a teenager, I was like didn't care about anything and anyone. I was kind of like me. In the same time, I meet a lot of resistance, of people like seeing me in one face, and here I am, have completely different face of me that they don't used to see. And teachers was kind of like turned their back towards me. It was many different things that I kind of get to accept that time, and again went through, like some difficulties, some hardships, and and the same time when my friends I was hanging out with started to die of different accidents and overdose, whatever, and like I started to kind of like facing the death, and I started to ask myself, oh, would I survive? I am until 18. Would I actually like, have long life? So I started to create my life. I started to think like, okay, I want to travel from 20 to 30. I'm going to travel from 30 to 40. I'm going to be businesswoman. From 40 to 50, I'm going to be mentoring people. From 50 to 60, I'm going to travel and just like be volunteering for UNESCO or UN, and like just doing my work, like kind of like, good work for the humanity.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it naturally, like I kind of like, it just happened kind of in a natural way. I was leader of the class for many years, and after like, because everything was very easy for me to communicate and kind of move things, organize events, organize things. I was a newspaper, whatever, the
Journalist.
like doing different things for school, different things for everyone, organizing the weekend trips when we've been like more older, like doing so many, and everything was so natural, like very natural, very easy. Communicate, just tell to people, oh, you get to do this, you're very good at this, and like let's organize it and make it happen. And when this my rebellious time come over, and I kind of like stopped to do the things I used to do, but it was just a short amount of my time, maybe like 4 months or 6 months anyway. But it was for the kid, it's a lot of time, right? Like whatever you were doing that time. And as I come back to myself again, I become again leader of the class. I started to kind of facing all the things. I started to kind of like work towards being a journalist, but I've been betrayed by teachers, many things has happened again. And I said to myself, you know what? I will still like go and study. And I was just Google, and I found like we need engineers and doctors. And I'm like, I cannot be doctor because I cannot like see the blood. I'm kind of like not like strong on that part. And I said like, I can be engineer because mathematics is very easy for me. School is very easy for me. So I got in as an engineer very easily, because I didn't give up on myself, even so the teachers didn't want me to succeed, they didn't want me to leave the place where I was living. And I said to everyone, you know what, I'm doing it because I want to do that. I don't like here where I am. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just trusting to the process. I just know somewhere in the world, like I found my family that I belong to, and they belong to me. And they will be happy to have me next to them. They will be happy to like, live with me. And what I learned through life, all the world is my family. It doesn't matter where I'm going. It doesn't matter where I'm traveling. I feel home. I feel like that is my family. They love me. They really appreciate me. They really like every time when I'm traveling, I'm having amazing time, and at the same time, I'm feeling like I want to have a base, my I travel so much that I said to myself, I want to have a base. And I started to think, where I want to have a base, because when I moved to the capital, in Russia, and was continued to be leader of the class already in the university, and I was being promoted to Moscow because the things I was doing for the community, and I was having a non-profit. I was doing many, many things that was good for the community. And so they promote me to the next step, and I moved to the other university in Moscow. And after that, I was doing all of this like community work, I would say, like volunteering, in the same time, I knew why I'm doing it. I didn't make money it was not because of the money. Yes, I would get paid a little bit here. I get, I get into real estate. I get like into like renting apartments and doing my things on the side because I was traveling and was hitchhiking. I knew how much money I get to make. I learned about freedom of the way I want to live my life. I organized my life. I was talking to the teachers every time when I want to travel for 2 months or 3 months around like Russia and Central Asia that time. And I was communicating with teachers. I said to them, I'm going to travel, like a hitchhiking, how I can do the exams before, how I can do this, how I can do that. And so they always been flexible with me, so like sometimes they would say like, oh, take it before. Sometimes they say like, okay, when you come back in September, whatever, October, you can take your exams over there.
Yeah. But it sounds like flexible. That vision, you just had these visions that you knew you needed to participate in to keep discovering more about yourself and who you are. Yeah. I'm so curious. I mean, being a world traveler and crossing paths with so many people, I imagine you meet people who really struggle with that kind of creative vision. So, how would you encourage others to find their own creative vision in their life?
Well, I was inviting people to like started to travel a little bit around their own neighborhood, like going to this little city that's next to them, going to the other neighborhood that they haven't discovered yet, go to the find something, go to the museum, go to the like do something different, do the dance that you're always thinking to go and dance, or do the some activities like a yoga, acro yoga. I don't know, like something that you haven't done. You get to start to kind of like do something that you haven't done before, and you get it's still space for that, and ask questions, as many questions as possible, because you get to learn and at the same time be vulnerable to learn. Vulnerability is one of the things that when you're honest about yourself and honest about your dreams and honest about what you want to create, everything will unfold in a natural, I believe, in very beautiful and magical way that you cannot even imagine. And it's still there. When I moved to Moscow, just because I started to travel already, when I was studying, because I was doing different forums, I was doing like different things. I was like with a community as a student. And when I moved to Moscow, like first time I came to Moscow with with other students, and I said to myself, like, I get to move here because it will give me more space to travel around the world, because I will have more opportunities here. It will be good. But I was scary. You're a little kid, you're alone, and like, I don't know anyone in Moscow. I don't have any friends here. I don't have any family. I don't know anyone. How I can, and slowly you started to get no other students from the Moscow, who studied, and like I started to communicate with them, and this like telling them that you want to move as well, and I'm doing this, I'm studying this. So you kind of like slowly moving in to like, by communicating, by asking questions, by sharing what you want. And that's how I feel like people scared to ask questions, people scared to learn from others. They are so close-minded, or I call it, they have the scarcity mindset instead to have abundance mindset, instead to have a joyful mindset. And I feel like, why what's stopping you to achieve your best self? Nothing. Just yourself. And like, get over yourself. That's why I used to say to the people, like, just get over yourself. Why are you doing it to yourself? I cannot watch it like you're doing the things to yourself over and over and over again. I mean, I do some kind of patterns as well. Everyone has a pattern. And I have I self-destruct myself, like as an artist, we do that. I'm a creative human being. And we do like the self-destructive, I call it like a days or months sometimes, because it's necessary for our growth. It's necessary when we want to continue to evolve. It's for our evolving, to feel more confident about what we're creating and who we are, the way we are. And I'm feeling like when I published my book, it took me like over a year to publish it, or like maybe a year and a half, whatever. But like it took a while to publish it and make it sure that everything is fine. Even so, I did it I'm still not happy about the results, the imaginary that I had and the way it's coming out. It's great. This is like when people give me comment and they say to me, oh, you should do this or you should do that. And I said to them, did you publish your book? Did you do this? Have you done your own homework before giving me advice the way I get to do my work? Like, and I'm feeling like sometimes people who really publish the book, who's done that work, they just appreciate it. They really appreciate it. It's like amazing job. You're doing great. Keep it up. You know, more books like this and something like that. You know, people who hasn't done any work, they give you so many opinions. They have so many opinions, and they like, how you can improve, how you can do better. And I'm like, I'm just looking at them and say like, who are you, please? Like, just let me know, like, why are you giving me advices, for what reason? And I'm just like, sometimes I was very like, I would say mean to them, because I said like, you know what? It's up to me to decide whether I take your advice or not. Please, did I ask you to share with me your opinion about something?
Yeah, unsolicited advice is very challenging. But I'm curious.
And I say, like, is this constructive advice or not? Because every time when I'm giving advice, I'm asking myself, is it constructive advice or constructive feedback? Get that person will benefit from this feedback or not? That's why I'm like doing my best to be positive as possible with other people and support their journey and support what they do, what they create, especially when they create art or something that create value in a community.
Absolutely. Tell us about your book. I want to know more about this book that you have in the world.
My book is called Joyful Living Guidebook. It's about, it was my art on it, and some like little, I call like advices of how to live joyful life. It's just kind of ideas that I practice myself through the life. And I'm just inviting people to be way more intentional. Like, you know, I create joyful container. And because when I go somewhere or like whenever I connect with people, I know they're with me in this joyful container. So people naturally feeling authentic themselves, who's, you know, who's more like open-minded and happy and positive, they really feel comfortable with you. Like, they really feel comfortable with me. People who is not comfortable in their own skin, in their own body, in their own, you know, world, they will not feel comfortable with you, and they will feel uncomfortable. And you've started to feel it true, and you want to help them to feel comfortable. You started to ask questions, how you can make you feel better, how you can, you know, what I can do for you that you feel more comfortable. And sometimes people come to me and say to me, oh my gosh, you're scaring me, or like, I feel like so dangerous. It's like, why? What's this in me? Like, what's that's kind of trigger you? What triggers you? What's happening in your world that you're scary to invite joy into your life, more excitement into your life, more curiosity? What's stopping you to be like a kid again? What's stopping you to be playful again? What's stopping you to be like learning new things? Trusting to the process. What? And I'm asking this question not because like I wanna scary them. I just asking to like help them to improve a little bit themselves.
Absolutely. You know? I mean, all of the questions you're asking are such important and very aligned with creativity and the curiosity, asking why and being curious and all of those pieces. I love all of it. And I love your journey and what you're putting out into the world and how you're showing up. I just have one last question. What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
For me, it's just beingness. I think it's beingness. It's like doingness, you know, and like I ask myself, I'm always focusing what I have instead of focusing what I don't have. I said to myself, I'm healthy, I'm young, I have me right now to create absolutely anything I want. And I have questions, you know, I get to be more like, sometimes I must say to myself, I get to do more like my homework before I'm going somewhere. Sometimes I'm lazy to do the homework. And when I do the homework, you know, and like, so I perform way better, you know, I play way better.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I said to myself, I still play me no matter what. Like, yes, I'm
Mhm.
kind of being a little bit sloppy, in this way when I'm not like doing my homework. Even so, sometimes I'm saying to myself, why you didn't do the homework? Like, you could
Yeah.
actually study a little bit before you're going and ask all these questions. Don't look so stupid. And I'm like, you know what? It's no stupid questions. All questions is good. Maybe
Yeah.
sometimes you like asking completely genius question and you think like, so I stopped to do that to myself. I said, you know what? It's not
Mm-hmm.
about that. I shouldn't even judge myself. I get to be just
Yeah.
me. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm always focusing what I have, and and I'm always focusing on beingness, being me the way I am. And I would say to the people sometimes, oh, right now I'm a little bit grumpy because we'll have my period probably in 2-3 days, because I know already, I'm in the age like I know why this thing's happening. Or I'm not eating, I'm too hungry, for example. I can be grumpy a little
Yeah.
bit. So like I already know why I'm acting in this way,
Mhm.
more emotional or like more irritated about things. So like I communicate that. I
Yeah.
communicate these things in very simple way. And
Mm-hmm.
I would like I observe people as well, because I know when they get in grumpy, I'm like, oh, you're tired. You probably didn't sleep well. Probably this. I'm not like taking it personally. I
Sure.
just like want to learn how I can support them, how I can make their day
Mm.
better, how I can
Absolutely.
like help them to be feeling more comfortable, even so they're feeling whatever they feel, because I feel comfortable. Whatever I feel,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling comfortable. I don't care, I'm like, this is me right now, and world still loves me, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel safe no matter what. I'm feeling safe if I'm like bitchy today, I can be super bitchy sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like it's all me. I get to love the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And that's
Yeah.
why I started to give myself more and more love.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I have the self-destructive days or
Mm-hmm.
weeks, I said to myself, you know what? I already know, like, oh, this is self, like, I'm distracting myself. Why I'm distracting myself? Why I'm
Mm.
doing it to myself? I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
oh, because I have time right now to do that. Why not? It's just fun. It's like when you're doing these distractive things, you're learning so many new things about yourself that you never ever have
Yeah.
done before. You're kind of open to the things that you, in your
Right.
organized dream life or joyful life, you would not do that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And
I
you do
love
that
hearing.
because, yes, and because you've been in this space of, I call it like a artistic days. I call them like
Mm-hmm.
my art days, or my days of them when I'm just an artist. Like I just
Yeah.
crazy, just go crazy. Sometimes it's just like I cannot explain myself why I'm doing such a crazy things, and at the same time I'm like, it's still me. I'm having fun. And I ask myself, do I have fun? Do I
Yeah.
enjoy it? And I say, yes. One of my answers is yes. I'm continuing to do that. I'm like, okay,
I
I enjoy
love
it.
hearing the
I like
trust that you have in
yeah.
yourself to follow who you are. It's amazing. And I'm going to wrap us up, but thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. If people want to learn more about what the work you do, your book, how can they go about doing that?
So people can go to my website, is Aisha.today, is AISHA.today,
Hmm.
where people can find my art, my what I'm doing right now, my mentorship program, about my book, Joyful Living Guidebook,
Yeah.
about my investment opportunity that I'm developing right now here in Europe,
Hmm.
and more things will coming up, and
Yeah.
also I published my book, Joyful Living Guidebook. People can find it on all platforms and
Okay.
Amazon. You just Google it, Joyful Living Guidebook by
Yeah.
Aisha Makara. And yeah, and I'm also developing right now my other website called like joyfulliving.com,
Hmm.
everything about joyful living. So you can go there and also like learn a little bit about joyful living and the idea of the joyful living I have. And yes, you can always book the time with me. I also open for the being speaker in a different conferences right now,
Yeah.
and slowly open up that door for myself, feeling confident to be
Hmm.
speaking in English. No matter what I'm speaking, I'm like, I'm doing it great, and it's better to be overconfident than not confident, and
Sure.
like and put yourself more like in a position to understand and learn from that, instead
Hmm.
to like thinking about that for years and years. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Aisha, for taking the time to chat with me. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I will put links in show notes so people have easy access. And thank you again for taking the time to join me today. Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.